Hey everybody, it's Jackie with Jackie's Recent Things. As you know, with these Unique in the Creek boards, this may have been done. I don't know, y'all. I just know this is what come to my mind, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to use 2 different color mesh to do this. Well, actually 3, excuse me. And what you're going to do is you're going to preload your board. This is what it looks like on the back. To the front, and you go ahead and you close them, so 1 in each. So I've already started just with 1 piece, and the reason I did that, it's right here, so I can go ahead and remember to put my zip tie hanger on, so that this can be hung later on. And I just go ahead and I just do that, just 1 snap. And remember, I don't cut these off because I don't want somebody to cut themselves on the zip tie. So what we're going to do is I've got some green mesh for the leaves. And you're just going to lay this out. It's cut 10 inches. And you're going to go corner to corner, like so, with your mesh, and then you're going to fold it in half. And now I'm using fabric mesh because it's so much easier to do this folding with when you're dealing with it. You can use any kind of mesh that you want to, but you know, for the cost, you're just money ahead, you know, for what you're going to charge, to just go ahead and use the fabric mesh. So here's how we're going to do the petals. I've got 21-inch mesh. I cut it 10 inches long, and we're going to fold it in thirds toward the center, like so. So you're going to kind of want to make sure that your cuts are, you know, kind of straight when you fold. And then you're going to fold this over in half again. And then along your open frayed edge, you're going to scrunch it up, ruffle it up, and that's how we're going to make our petal. So I'm going to do every other zip tie on the outside, 1 petal and 1 leaf to start, like so. So now I'm going to do a leaf. Once again, 10-inch mesh, cut 10 inches. Gonna go corner to corner, ruffle that up, fold it in half, and I'm flipping it over so that my leaf will lay flatter. That's why I'm flipping mine over. And then you zip tie it in. So now I'm going to go back to yellow. And once again, this is the good edge. I'm going to fold it in, fold this in, like so. It doesn't have to be perfect. Fold that over. And then you're going to ruffle it up. So this is the outside row that we're working on. You can add as many leaves as you want to, but doing it like this, if you want to do just a one color flower, you will only need one roll of 21-inch mesh. To do it like I'm doing it, you need 2 rolls, obviously, for the rotating colors. And because of the folding, I definitely recommend a jute mesh. That's what I'm using, or a fabric mesh. It's just so much easier than your other meshes to fold. One thing you always want to make sure is that you've got all your fray gathered in, and I didn't, so let me go back and fix that. Now, if you have a hard time gripping the mesh, and it's a little bit difficult for you to do this, I would recommend that you cut the mesh 11 inches, 12 inches, to give you a little bit more to hold on to put into your zip tie. You can always cut the excess off. Like these little frays, because they're pretty wiry, I'm gonna chop those right off. Well, I don't know what happened there. But I have 16 ties on the outside, so we're doing 8 leaves and 8 petals on the outside. Now, I am no doubt that this was probably already been done. I said, I don't know. It's extremely hard to keep up with all the flower petals that have been done on these boards. So this just came to my mind. And when I thought about how it would turn out on the board, it reminded me of one of the flowers that I have here in my shop. Oops. Well, I got a hold of that. I forgot to put my leaf. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in. And then I'll slide under my petals and put my leaf in. The other reason you want to try really hard to be careful about folding over, and why some of you might have to cut yours a little bit longer, is you don't want to lose too much of your length. So if you need to cut it 10 inches or 12 inches to get a little bit more length to it, cut it. Also, too, the longer that you cut your mesh, the longer your petal will be. So if you're wanting a bigger flower, you just cut it longer. Now my piece of mesh was ripped, which is strange, so I'm gonna have to cut one more leaf to finish out the outer ring. Now, if you wanted to, you can just put the leaves in every other. Do that first, get that out of the way. I just like going around and doing everything as I go. So now I'm just gonna fuzz around, cut the zip ties off. I think the important thing to make these quick and is that you come up with your own system that works for you, whether it is the tool that you use to cut the cable ties and to cinch them down if you don't have that much hand strength. Whatever tool you get that saves you money, just always remember it's worth investing in. Whatever saves your hand strength, you know, go for it. Sometimes when we're doing these things, we don't take into consideration that what we're doing, the repetitive motion, can actually cost us more money in the long run in medical bills. So I'm going to try to overlap my colors, mix them up as much as possible. You notice my folds aren't to the center, aren't perfect. They don't have to be. only thing that's really important is catching all your open So now that I think you see exactly what I'm doing from the outer edge to the inside, I'm going to move on a little bit faster now. As you notice, mine aren't perfect. The shape of it's what's gonna, it not being perfect is what's gonna give it its personality. Oh, that one's being a little bit difficult. Let's try again. This is where fabric mesh is just a little bit better for doing these, because it folds just a little bit better and it's easier to use. The reason I'm doing this and showing you these is because as far as the flowers go, the popularity on these has not slowed down at all. And I have some fabric mesh over here that I'm going to show you the difference. So this is jute, but I'll show you the difference on how much easier it is to fold, so that you can decide which kind of mesh you want to use. I'm just trying to think of different possibilities that you can do without feeling like you need to get the wood burning tool out so that you don't have the frayed edges. So we just have 2 more rows to go. And I think this would look really pretty all in one color, whatnot. I know there's a couple of people that are a part of the group, and Lori will probably watch it really fast to see if this is something she's done. I'm sure she'll be able to tell me from just looking at it. Y'all have to let me know if you like this. These flowers are really, really good items if you do craft shows. It's something where you don't have to think about cutting the ribbon. You just cut the mesh, load the board, and you have, you know, you can make several of these to fill your booth, and they're inexpensive and they're popular. Did I do 2 orange together? Yeah, it just looked like I did. I was like, wait, did I mess up? That must have been a bad zip tie and I didn't know it. That happens. Sometimes the zip ties come loose. Normally I catch it though. You have to look at it like this. When that kind of thing happens, better it happen to you than the customer. Easy fix. And one more row, and then we'll make the center. You can use whatever you want to for the center. I just try to use whatever I have on hand. The more I'm doing this, more I'm like, I think I've seen this flower before. Not everything that we do is going to be new and groundbreaking. And I'm okay with that. Like I said, because there's so many people that spend far more time on these boards than I do making the flowers. It's just never been something that I do. Slipped right out of my hand. So after after I put this one in, I'm going to cut the fabric mesh a piece real quick to show you how much better it folds. For those of you that have never done one of these before and are curious which mesh to buy to do this, so that's what we have. So I'm going to grab this real quick and show you the difference. And then we're going to make the center, so I'm just going to cut this 10 inches real fast. See the difference right off the bat, how much better and easier it folds? So it just folds better. So if I was strictly just doing flowers, I would go ahead and invest into the fabric mesh to do it. So what I have here for the center is half a star. Actually, it's more like a quarter. I think this is probably where I was doing the snowman. This past winter, so it's definitely left over. And I was unable to find my brown yarn, so I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to like stuff it right here in the center for my start point. I would prefer yarn. It's quicker. The good thing is you can bend this around. And it'll stay, whereas opposed to yarn, you're like having to chase it down. You can also use this to make a neat little center, like a decorative center, with just styrofoam ball. There's just different options you can do using the pipe cleaner. Y'all, I swore my yarn was here. 2 seconds. Oh, it is. It is. Thank goodness. I prefer to use the yarn. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, forgive me. I'm still getting settled into the shop, y'all. I like to tie a knot to start mine. Then I cut it off right at the top of the knot. because that knot kind of gives me something to spin around. And then you don't have to be really thick with your hot glue either. I like to do the yarn center because it's the least inexpensive way to do this. You could paint. I prefer not, because then you gotta wait for the paint to dry. So to me, this just basically takes less time. And you can buy all different colors of yarn. You don't have to worry about the yarn going bad, which you have to worry about with paint. You can get that real fuzzy yarn, and it'll do this really quick. I kind of zigzag mine to spread it so I can go around more. I'm just trying to make sure the styrofoam's good and covered up, because that white would stick out like a sore thumb. Don't want that. So now to attach it, I'm going to come around to the other side, and I'm going to stick some pipe cleaners in. And I'm doing them the long way because that way we can go 2 separate holes and tie it in the back. So we gotta let that cool down and set. So we'll wait for that to cool down and set. I got these styrofoam, they're fairly inexpensive, and I thought this would add just a cute little touch to this. So I'm going to cut the hanger off of it. I'm going to get one of my handy little barbecue skewers. We're going to make a pick out of him. I would say if you plan on doing a lot of these flowers, that you should probably like get a system down, making the centers one day, doing this one day, cutting your mesh one day, and then having an assembly day. Especially if you work and you do the craft shows on the side. We'll let that cool down. I don't know if y'all remember Deanna Davis. Deanna Davis makes these little half balls. Thought for different color flowers that would be really cute. Just want to show y'all that really quick for a center. So what I'm gonna do, put my center down, make sure I like it. If you see some little bit of hot glue that's bothering you, like I see right now, take the tip of your hot glue gun, heat it back up. Now that I got those through, I'm going to go around the edge outside of my and I was able to pull on that really tight. And I have quite a bit of pipe cleaner left. Now, because I don't want anybody cutting themselves, I'm going to pull this up and through these holes. And I'm going to twist it there, secure it, and I'm just going to tuck it back into my flower. Now that's obviously long. So I'm just going to cut it off. And I want this to be flat as possible. I'm going to use my ice pick to put the hole first. There we go. All right, so once you get it in there, like I said, I wanted it as flat as possible, and I thought this would add just a little bit of cuteness. I mean, why not? All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Like I said, I don't know if this flower has been done before. I'll look forward to seeing if it has. Y'all let me know. Thank y'all for joining me. Bye, y'all.